Well, good morning, Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, and all who are joining us in from far and wide. I am really happy and so grateful to be back with you again. You know, in August, we spent time resting, rejuvenating. Hopefully you did. And certainly readying ourselves for this next ascent on our journey. And we begin that ascent this month with a new theme called Reaching Higher. Reaching higher towards a greater understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe, which asks us, of course, to push past our comfort zones, using our understanding in innovative ways to advance us forward while including and benefiting from the wisdom and experiences we've certainly gained along the way. And as we do that, we rise, don't we? So what is your growing edge personally? How are you expanding your understanding and application of the principles to include the collective good of the planet? Safi was singing about that. The evolution of opening. How are we being called to reach higher and push past our comfort zones? Most importantly, to solidify a closer relationship with the God of our understanding, as present everywhere, all the time, even in the shadows. Wherever this growing edge of awareness and becoming leads you, rest assured you will continue to strengthen your mental resolve and capacity to surrender into the beauty and power of the One. So today we begin exploring this new theme, Reaching Higher, by seeing how we create meaning in our lives. Joseph Campbell said, people say that what we're all seeking is a meaning for life. I think what we're really seeing is an experience of being alive, which has an uplifting resonance within our innermost being and reality, so that we actually can feel the rapture of being alive. Now, I think we often search for meaning in life, which motivates us to reach higher, as in push farther, be better, right? But when the dust settles, we realize that life has no meaning except to be itself. It is the meaning which we give life, which determines our soul experience. Now, this idea of reaching higher, I believe, is truly about creating meaning in our life rather than creating meaning out of life. So in other words, being inner informed instead of reacting, responding, perceiving, and making decisions about what's going on out there. In other words, using the spiritual truth of life, such as infinite possibility in any given situation, or the inherent goodness and wholeness of life existing within every situation, to inform where we lean in our perception and response, out of which we conclude meaning. Now, this definition does not ask us to reach into a mystery, but rather a natural nature manifest through the one principle, which states wholeness and unity, or oneness. Now, I think this idea is very connected to my talk title, which is Flip the Switch, which in turn casts a light onto the inherent nature of all life. Switch on, open to all potential and outcomes, awakening your curiosity, critical thinking, divine download, fresh meaning. Switch off, hanging out in knowledge and past experience, automatically creating experience, not terribly fulfilling. Psychotherapist Francis Weller says, the work right now is to become immense. We have to get our arms around immense things. Violence and hatred, bigotry and racism, and also around love and compassion and devotion and a certain fidelity to protect what is alive. We have to become immense. This is not a time to be small. Now, our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, states there is a deeper level of the intellect, yet it is the intellect that must unite with that something larger than itself. All right, so there's a deeper level of the intellect, but it is the intellect that must unite with that something larger than itself. The intellect is not to become lost, but found in universal wholeness. The self discovers the self in a larger self. It is the earnest desire of all of us, workers in the field, to make this self-discovery for ourselves and others. We who listen to the gentle urgings of our own soul and accustom ourselves to seeing God in all nature will gradually be transforming ourselves from a lower to a higher consciousness of life. So with that, I have a personal story to share. Most of you were aware I've been off for a few weeks, and my partner and I got COVID very unexpectedly. Now, I named this the flip switch because during this time I experienced what most would see as a complete black and white juxtaposition or happening. Let me explain. The sicker I got, the darker, smokier, stiller, and more ashen the external world became. Now, I know you're probably thinking, as within, so without. Well, so was I. And the Okanagan Valley in British Columbia was also moving through, for the last 2-3 months, fires, smoke, and ash descending. We could not even crack a window or a patio door for a fresh breath, as it exacerbated our limited ability to breathe as it was. Now, where once was experienced our lush, magical, beautiful garden, beach, and lake view with intense color, fragrance, and a profound sense of calm, where we awoke daily to increase gratitude, it in an instant was gone. Darkness ensued. In our under the cover long-term stay mentality at that time, it seemed to continue forever, well over 3 weeks. Can seem like that when literally the lights are off. And then one day, at the same time, my health took a turn for the better, and I felt my spirit enter back into my whole being. I looked outside, and there was sun. I could see across the lake, and I actually could step out for the first time. One day the blinds were down, and the next day they were up. It's funny, when they come up, you kind of forget what was. Right. Now, this was not the moment when the switch flipped. It was in the thought the day before when I declared, and I said it out loud. I came out of my bedroom, dragging my butt, and I said, enough. I no longer choose this experience. It's done. That was the switch flipped. Until that declaration, I did give myself into, as Safi was saying, give into the experience of non-resistance and surrender, to experience being fully present to myself right where I was. I barely moved through my days without thought, just tending to body needs. I turned the life I had known per se and released being the director, the scriptwriter, and the observer. I became the experiencer, full stop. You know, we are drawn to the beauty in the world and others because we find a connection to that quality of spirit within us, right? We're also drawn because something within us seeks it to know its true self. Equally, we are drawn to the pain of the world, the darkness, for the same reasons. I believe without question that the spirit in me, the untouched, whole, perfect energy that is the cause back of all life, had its chance to do its work in restoring harmony and wellness to my body mind, because there was that within me that knew and surrendered in faith without needing to define the process or outcome. Now, it sounds very fluid as I explain it. It was not that. Truly, at one point, I did not know if I was going to survive. In other words, come back to the Nadene I knew. But I found a new grace through surrender, more meaning in embracing immense things, which means far out possibilities, including the stark reality and seeming paradoxes in life, and deepen both my understanding and dedication to what is most valuable to give myself into. Of course, I didn't consciously choose to get sick. That was how, right? The part of the universal creative process. But I did consciously choose my actions, decisions that led to that perfect outcome. And I most definitely knew when I no longer needed to troll the black part of the ocean depths in order to reach higher and expand my sense of self and life. So I'm going to ask you to join me for a moment in a visualization. Just get comfortable wherever you are. Take a deep breath, another deep breath, cleansing as it is. And I want you to close your eyes and just ask yourself, where is my growing edge right now? Take a moment and find the place of disharmony in your life. There you can find a growing edge. Even if it emanates from an ego-based place, for instance, like I'm too concerned about what others think of me, or if it emanates from a soul place, such as I just don't feel inspired to create anything new in my life. Just take that moment now. Now, flip your switch. Take a brand new thought that immediately has you open to embrace the spiritual truth of infinite potential as you. Goodness at the inherent core of yourself or others or world happenings rising to the surface right now. Ground this thought in this moment with a convicted acceptance by saying, this is done and so it is. With this new thought, energy shifts in mind from all things created and subsequently everything changes. You just flipped your own switch. Congratulations. You know, we religious scientists need to apply the universal creative thought principle now, because this world is at its own tipping point. And only the power of the people, those who recognize and declare there is power in the people, shall flip the global switch. You know, to pick up on the subject of mind-body health and my declaration to flip the switch, I'd like to ask you, how are you feeling right now? Well, however you are feeling, the divine law is in right action. In other words, your body is expressing your subconscious belief patterns. Let me explain that just a little bit better for you. You know, similarly to science of mind, the Buddhists have to say this about how action of mind works in us. They say with or without conditions, two states of our mind are present. Science of mind, the with conditions is our conscious state of mind, which is the map maker, our belief system, from which our decisions are made in terms of the relative. We weigh, we deduce, we measure, we create time, we organize. The without condition of our mind in the Buddhist tradition speaks to our subconscious state of mind that creates automatically without desire or preference of any kind. So what happens inside your mind when I say these words? If you were not feeling well in this moment, you might be hearing something like, I didn't ask to be sick, which is what I said. Right? I didn't decide to be sick. I wasn't even thinking about being sick. But may I ask you, were you thinking about being well? Had you made a decision, a declaration to be healthy? Which, by the way, is the normal state of all life. Can you say that your thinking is geared to know and affirm with your own words that you're strong? That you are a strong, vital expression of the infinite spirit within? True health is based on the principle that God is life, and that this life is your life right now. You did not create this life. God did, right? Nor can you destroy this life. But when you are in the throes of illness, your health patterns remain as a spiritual pattern in your subconscious mind. It awaits your recognition and your actual decision that it shall again become operative. Sickness can never destroy health. It can only cause it to go underground and await reactivation. We cannot destroy a spiritual pattern. God, or that intelligence, first cause, back of all life, created that pattern out of itself and individualized that pattern as you. It can be ignored and even denied, but it cannot be destroyed. And because we have been created out of this perfect whole life, each of us is health, not healthy. Each of us is health, not healthy. Each of us is life, not merely alive. And each of us is the infinite intelligence, not just the thinker. Each of us is a glorious means by which infinite spirit acts on the plane of the finite. We are the taker of the infinite in order to be the giver to the finite. We have been given perfect health as the essence of our beingness. Are we going to take it? If we split our faith, it weakens and becomes hope. Do we believe in our health or our illness? Have you ever known anyone or read about anyone who has gone away on a Zen retreat, say 30, 60, even 90 days? I still have that yet to do. The motivation to do so, although diverse in description by most, is motivated by the same need: to get one's mind and one's body in the same place at the same time. Why? To feel connected in order to feel alive. The rapture that Joseph Campbell refers to is not the kind we immediately think about as found in intimate and beautiful exchanges with a loved one, or lying on a gorgeous beach with nothing to be or do, or being stirred by an incredible piece of music. It is the rapture found within the little things, the meaning you give life, like smelling the air, hearing the insects singing on a spring evening, washing the dishes, or seeing one's family from time to time, or how you feel at the sunset at the end of the day. Isn't that what our whole life is, really? I think so. You know, rapture comes from appreciation. And appreciation comes from paying attention. It is so simple a practice, yet many of us need to strip away everything and anything we consider part of our daily existence. In addition, often, add putting ourselves through something, sometimes even arduous or unforgiving or frightening or uncomfortable, in order to discover rapture. But when we find rapture through appreciation of the ordinary things in our day, we are inspired because we know that then we do not have to wait for rapture to come at only the rarefied moments. We are inspired because we know that it is us that can change our own habits from dreaming to waking up, so that what is going on outside we can see matches the inside. Wouldn't that feel divine? Having the mind and body in the same place at the same time solves about 99% of the matter. The other 1%, of course, is what we decide to do with it. Yes, what to do with it. Even the smallest step, word, or action has a rippling effect. To this, I was reading a recent blog by Marianne Williamson, and here are a few of her ideas. She says it's not a time to simply sit back, wait, and see. We are not born to be mere observers to world events. We were born to be conscious actors. This is a time to make a serious commitment to whichever world we wish to pass to our children. The forces of hate are already on the march. The forces of love now need to gather stronger. Enough is enough. Nature in all its forms is standing up for itself now, making it very clear that in the final analysis, we can only go so far with our dysfunctional behavior before it stops working for us and in fact starts working against us. So I ask you, will we stand up for our true spiritual nature and the inherent creative intelligence sourced within us? Will we be the ones to consciously create the meaning in our lives in both easy and challenging scenarios? Will we surrender and stop using our energy to fight against what scares us and instead use our minds to create a clear picture of the highest and best for ourselves, our families, our communities, and this planet, so that we all tip towards the wholeness, goodness, the beauty, and richness enough for all? Start with your growing edge. It may be ego or soul motivated, but there you will find a resistance that's stopping the flow of you moving forward into the possibility we've been speaking about this morning. We can carry placards and march against what we're afraid of anytime, which only serves to expand our fear. But we can only step up and reach higher to contribute to a world that works for everyone when we are clear in our declaration and application of the spiritual creative intelligence sourced within and directed by us. I would like now to leave you with this music. A cavern of unawakened possibilities slumber in my mind. A simple decision, a mere thought may disturb their comfortable hibernation and bring them to life. Awakened dreams, revelations, and brilliant ideas come forth so I may create a masterpiece of you. You are my muses, my genius, my innate intelligence waiting to be set free. Set free of the cuffs I have shackled to your wrists and ankles. Arise from below, arise and reach higher. And so it is. Amen.